Also going to go maybe a little bit quicker on these. I feel like I'm taking my sweet time, but hope you guys are enjoying. So let's talk about these small forwards: Ace Bailey, Liam McNeeley, Kon Knueppel, Nique Clifford, Hugo Gonzalez, Miles Byrd, Alex Toohey, Jamir Watkins, and Drake Powell and Adou Thiero, whom Adou is a freak of nature. I don't know if you guys have ever seen him. Let me change this right here for the small forward positions. And let's start off with Ace Bailey, a guy who's probably going to go third overall. Athletic version of Michael Porter Jr. is the easiest way to say the TLDR on him. And he's a great player. I think a lot of people would agree that, look, took a lot of shots in college. And I think he's not going to have that like leash to take those many shots, or the green light to take those many shots in the NBA. But the explosiveness that he has the guard-like movement with his creation. He can finish above the rim. He can protect the paint. He can step out to knock down the three-point shot. It's the combination of the athleticism, the length, the creativity that potentially could make him a matchup nightmare on that side of the ball. It's what everybody wants. Now, is it as good as people are saying, or is it all in theory? And I think at worst his floor is pretty like high, but this is another guy. Liam McNeeley came in as a really hyped up prospect. He had a really bad year shooting the ball, but listen to this. 122 of his attempts were from catch and shoot threes. He hit those at 36.6%. He got injured. He ended up showing he's kind of more of a, I think he is going to be a good three-point shooter. And he could be one of the better ones, if not the best in this class. He's got great mechanics. He thrives off ball. He can initiate. He's also not a guy who should be initiating stuff. He's just an unselfish player who has got good awareness positionally. And if he does develop as a secondary playmaker, he can maybe follow like a Denny Avdia type, career like path. I think he's more likely to be like a Duncan Robinson, floor spacer with some playmaking ability, that if he does develop the ability to always have a rhythm, then it can work out great. He just needs to show that he can defensively be good, and just that he doesn't need to be a starter, and he can play off of injuries or off the bench and not need to have his confidence get shook. Now, I think Kon Knueppel is someone I like better, and you would probably argue he would be in front of Liam McNeeley, and I would say yes too. I think Kon and Liam are either toe-to-toe. If not, I think Kon is better. I think Kon Knueppel is a guy that I really, really like. I think he's someone that, as a pure shooter, he's able to show that not just can he help a team space the floor. I think he's DeAndre Hunter with a little bit less defense, but he's actually a lot more athletic, bigger than people think, but has the hustle, the creativity, and just the cardio to run, relocate, and get open. He's got the quick release, and he's actually got the strength to create separation off screens and to punish teams who, drop or go behind screens, and especially in situations where he is the ball handler in a pick and roll. And his defensive impact is a lot better than people would think for a white guy. So I think he's just someone that I've fallen in love, and thought that people have still put Liam McNeeley in front of him. But I think, yeah, he might not be like flashy or elite. The way he just reads the floor and his basketball IQ, you can't teach that. And that's something I thoroughly enjoy when watching him. So he's someone, if you guys haven't been watching, keep an eye out for. Nique Clifford, I think, is it Nique or Nick? Either way, he went from Colorado to Colorado State. Interesting story. Got just better every year. I think he's Aaron Wiggins of this draft class. He does everything: scores, rebounds, defends, makes reads. He averaged like 19 and 10 this year. Shot 38% from the field, or from three, 50% from the field. He's the glue guy you want in the NBA. He's going to come in, impact day one. And some people are going to say like, oh, he might not be ready, but he's the classic do stuff, all right, wing. He's going to be able to play the two. He's going to be able to play the three in the small ball four. He's got the shot, and I think he plays with energy. And now the shot making creation is what's going to keep him from being, a potential starter to a high-end bench player. But at the very least, like I said, Aaron Wiggins with the better jumper, and I think a career path like Aaron Wiggins is relatively realistic for a guy like him. So Nique Clifford, someone to keep your eyes out for. Now, Hugo Gonzalez was a really big-time player coming out of Spain for a while, and the shot making and minutes have not, and obviously he hasn't been able to display it even if he wanted to because the minutes haven't came, but he's another guy, Swiss Army gadget player, athletic slasher, and lockdown perimeter defender is what I would categorize him as of right now. He has the burst to attack on closeouts. He finishes through contact, and he's great in transition. He's got length and the discipline to be a disruptive on-ball defender. It's the jump shot that's the swing skill. He's a good passer. He went from being a guy that people thought was going to be like a shooting guard, point guard, to being more of a wing, even though he's big. I think the whole thing with him is that like he's got passiveness. He doesn't assert himself, and it's just the rawness. He has all the tools, the ball handling, and the feel for the game. It's just like he doesn't shoot. Like you want him to develop into a 3-and-D wing at worst if the shot comes around, but potentially he's a guy that I think he's going to be in the NBA for a while because he has the tools you want to see as a role player. But I understand the frustration if you're a fan of his and you're just like, this guy never gets minutes. He's not gotten minutes. He's on Real Madrid and he stayed there. A lot of his peers like Ethan Almanza left and he's just stayed behind and doesn't get minutes. And the minutes he does, it's not like his shots are falling, but I think he competes, hustles, and does everything you want from a guy outside of that, setting. Miles Byrd, coming from San Diego State, he's gotten better throughout the season and throughout his career. And did I spell Miles wrong? No, he spells it with an I. Why did I think Miles spelled it with a Y? Either way, 6'7", swingman, probably play the 2 or the 3, big twos. And yeah, his stats aren't like the most flattering, but I think he's somebody that the multi-positional ability as a defender 1 through 3, especially on offense, he can play the 2. He can put the ball on the deck a little bit. He's a willing shooter. I think that the fact that he has that secondary playmaking ability and he can create for others in transition, he's able to score off ball screen actions, and he just competes on the defensive end. The shot's workable. I think shooting's the easiest skill to teach. He has the two-way makings of a rotation piece, and I think that's what you're looking for if you're in the draft always. So keep an eye out for that. Alex Toohey, if you've been following Australian basketball, he's a guy who's been in the market for a few years now, and I've always liked Alex. He's a guy who's going to be a combo forward in the NBA. I think his career is probably going to be like George Niang, just a guy who's stoic, tough, who's going to excel as a shooter if that's what falls. He's excellent off cuts. He plays great off ball. He reads help defense as well, and he can switch on to bigger, smaller opponents. And yeah, the shooting and athleticism is average. I think that's why the shooting is going to be what he needs to hone in on as a specialist. But the feel, the IQ, and the fact that he's 6'9" is like what you're cool with that. And to me, 11.5 points, 4 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 1.5 steals, shot 34% from 3. Like I'll take those. I'll take those numbers. Okay, they're not bad, and he's gonna be someone that I think teams are gonna enjoy. Jamir Watkins is a Leonard Hamilton special, 6'7", 6'6". I'd bet on these intangibles. He's got the skills. He's got the work ethic. You got a guy who's probably going to be, at worst case scenario, like a Torrey Craig type role player who's going to defend the 1, the 2, the 3, maybe even small ball 4. He rebounds well for his position. He pressures the passing lanes, and he's going to flash secondary ball handling ability as his shot making or shooting ability, I think, becomes more consistent. He's a guy who could be a threat for a contending team that needs to help flesh out the back end of their bench, as he'll rebound, he'll hustle, he'll play hard, and he plays within a system, and coaches won't have to worry about him. So I think that's a guy that teams are going to really like. I think the whole thing is if the waiver goes through, he's going to play another year of college ball because he's a second round pick. Now, Drake Powell, I think is an interesting guy here. And Drake is somebody that I think is going to be an interesting pick, as he was a highly recruited player and he's got all the defensive chops. But the big thing with him was he just didn't have a great standout or great impact. Like, you didn't feel that he was there. He put up 7.5 points, 3.5 rebounds, 1 assist, just under a block and steal game. Like, I think he's going to be a great defender. Shot 48% from the field, 38% from three. He has everything you want from an athleticism standpoint, the tools, the high-end athleticism, as I just said. I guess, like, you could say he's raw, like nothing stands out, doesn't do anything crazy, but I think the length, the verticality, and just that him being actually naturally a decent shot selector, or his shot selection isn't anything grotesque, and that he contests shots, he finishes in transition. He's going to be someone who probably you need to spend a year or two fleshing out things, but you got a lot to work with there. And that's the similar thing with Thiero right here, who some people are out on, some people are in on. But I saw him play against Miami. Yeah, I think he went to the free throw line like 8 times and he missed like 7 of them or 6 of them. The way he was just going, I think you develop him kind of like a Kogi or Isaac Okoro, hoping he can just be a low volume 3 and D guy. But he's someone who can play the 2, the 3, or the 4 just solely off the fact that he has upper echelon athleticism. He's a freaking buff freak of nature who's an explosive defender who thrives in switch heavy schemes. Like, as I just said, you're hoping that he pans out like a Lou Dort type defender with maybe Isaac Okoro, Josh Okogie, 3-point shooting ability, but with the willingness to be a downhill just threat to just go downhill like he's the cum bucket Jonathan Kuminga, and just it's insane. But on defense, he has the athleticism to recover on rotations, be a weak side rim protector, finish a fast break if he grabs the rebound. And like, I mean, I don't like him dribbling much, but like his straight line drives and putbacks are insane. He just needs to develop his jumper, and like it could be a different, game for him. But he's someone that I think is absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, that was the small forwards, and we'll do shooting guards next as we wrap this up, because A, getting hungry, B, I think we'll do all the positions and my sleepers, and then we'll do the rest of everything tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow in the morning we'll do the rest of them. So let's go ahead and talk about shooting guard.